So since you're just coming back from break, let's get you reoriented with some of the things we talked about last week and the week before. So since you know we have a test coming up, I thought we would talk a little bit about the factored form versus the expanded form, otherwise known as using the distributive property. So if we think about the factored form here in our lovely drawing, so take a look at the dimensions here. The width is 5. And when we're talking about the factored form, the length is going to be 4 plus 9. So that's the factored form, and it really is just using the dimensions of the rectangle. If we want to talk about the expanded form, we're going to be talking about the sum of the areas. So once again, we're going to use the 5 because that's our width, but we're going to multiply it by the 4, which is the dimension of the red rectangle, and then we're going to add that to the 5 multiplied by the 9, which is the area of the pink rectangle. So that's the sum of the areas is the expanded form, and the factored form is just using the dimensions to find the total area. Okay, so let's take a look at the one down below. Same thing, except this time we have a variable. So the factored form, once again, the dimensions, 6 times x plus 11, because we don't know what that x is, but that's going to be equivalent to if we did 6 times the x and then added that to 6 times the 11. So let's look at some other examples. Here we don't have the drawing, but we're still using the distributive property. So we're first going to multiply what's outside the parentheses times the first term inside the parentheses, so negative 3 times negative 1, and then we're going to add that to the negative 3 again, multiplied by the 8. So if I just asked you for the factored form, you would give me what you see here on the left-hand side, and if I asked you to change that into the expanded form, you would give me what you see on the right here. If, however, I want you to simplify, you're actually going to multiply. So the thing we're going to do next, we're going to just follow our order of operations. We're going to do negative 3 times negative 1 is 3, plus negative 3 times 8 is negative 24, and then we're going to add those two together to get our lovely answer of negative 21. Here's another example with a negative out front, so negative 2 times the first term, and then since this is subtraction, instead of addition, we're going to put a subtraction sign there, and then once again, we're going to do negative 2 times the 8, so we've got negative 22 minus negative 16. Okay, and then you can add the opposite. So it's actually going to be, running out of room, negative 22 plus 16, which is negative 6. Hope you can see that. Okay, here we go. Let's do a few more. So in this case, we're given the expanded form. In order to make that into the factored form, we're going to look for what they have in common. We've got a negative 7 in common, and then we're going to use the parentheses after that. So we've got inside the parentheses, there's going to be a 4 plus a negative 5. Obviously, if we were just doing numbers and we was given either way, we're just going to follow order of operations to simplify, but I want you to recognize how to write both forms. So once again, in the one below, this time we're going to distribute it, so it's 3 times the 8, which is the first term, minus, and then 3 times the negative 2. And we can simplify this if you like. So we get 24 minus a negative 6, and then 24 plus 6, because subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive, and then 30. Okay, so I'm going to have you try a few on your own, and you are actually going to put your answers right into the system. So I'm just going to ask you a question again for these next 3 coming up. So good luck. I hope this helped, and if you need to rewatch it so that you understand it, please do. Go math. Remember, we'll be reviewing next class period so that we can prepare for the test next week. And here are your topics, and they will also be on Classroom. Good luck.